welcome to KRIM's Community Spotlight. This morning, we're having a bit of an on-air reunion with our friends, the hometown movie guys, minus a couple of them. We have Andy McKinney in the studio with us this morning. And Andy, first of all, it's good to be with you again. It's been a while.
Well, Randy, it's good to be with you again, and have the hometown movie guys here broadcasting from a new and improved location. I'm just tickled to death.
Yeah, and the coffee's good.
It sure is. And I might just mention that I would like to say hello to everybody out there in Radio Land.
Radio Land, that's right. Hey, now hello. Tina can't be with us this morning. I know that she's busy, and apparently Craig, and I know he's been running 100 miles a minute just trying to keep everything rolling at the theater. During all of this transition, it's been a tough time, and they've changed some of their hours there.
Yes,
at the Sawmill
they
Theater.
certainly have. They're, as I understand it, they're eliminating the Monday through Friday, the 7 o'clock show will be expunged.
Right.
And they're also planning on closing 2 of the theaters soon. So it'll be, instead of being a 6-plex, it'll be a 4-plex.
A 4-plex. Wow, very interesting.
Yeah.
And so obviously
the problem that they're one of the many problems that they're facing is content.
Right.
The movie business closed down utterly.
not just here in Payson, but industry.
I mean the people that make movies
Right.
Quit making movies because
That's all the COVID-19 stuff, right?
Right. Yeah, you can't have your leading man and your leading lady smooching if they're going to get sick. So
That's right.
They just completely closed down the whole movie making business. So all of those movies that were supposed to have been available to show to the public haven't been made. And other movies that were made have been for financial reasons have been pushed back. For instance, Mulan, big Disney
Right.
picture. It's the live action version of the cartoon movie about a warrior princess essentially in China. That's been pushed back, and we don't really know when that one will become available. Same thing with the James Bond movie and so on. So this week we're lucky that we're having what is it? Not Trolls,
Something or other.
not Trolls World Tour. Oh, I know what it is. Irresistible.
Ah.
So we do have a new made in the year of 2020 movie to watch at the theater this
Really?
week. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Steve Carroll.
Oh, okay. So this is not a drama.
It's billed as a kind of a comedy drama. It's a political satire, I think, is the. I haven't seen it yet, but the best way for me to understand it with Jon Stewart being the writer,
Right.
And director, by the way,
Sweet.
and producer.
Oh,
So you
jack
wrote
of
it.
all trades.
Yep, he wrote it and directed. Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with Jon Stewart. I can't stay up late enough to watch his show, but he is. This is actually a second directorial effort on a feature film, but he's got just scads of credits as a producer. He's got 48 producing credits, and get this, he has 36 acting credits.
36.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're talking about Jon Stewart.
And by the way,
Really?
for those of you that may have just joined us, we also just had someone else join us, and it's Craig from the Sawmill Theaters. How you doing?
How's it going?
Very good. How are you doing this morning?
Hectic. But
Hectic. Yeah, I imagine I got you running a lot of different directions, right?
Yeah, it's crazy times.
Yeah. Hey, it was good to be back with you guys again, and I know we'll have Tina
Deja
here next
vu,
week.
huh?
Yeah, deja vu all over again. That's right. So we were talking a little bit about some. We actually do have finally some movies that have been produced and are coming out this year, and
that were built in this year and are being shown in this year finally. And today, Irresistible.
Wow. So that's interesting.
And great cast. Greg, we were just talking about how Jon Stewart is not just a fast-talking quipster on television, but he's well, actually, his 36 acting credits for the films,
Right.
almost all of them are of him.
Right.
But being him,
Being
yeah,
Jon Stewart, yeah.
yeah.
I was gonna say a lot of little clips where he's kind of doing the news or something.
Yeah.
So not terribly multifaceted yet.
No, but he's got 48 producer credits, and he made a movie called Rosewater that is completely uncharacteristic of. You would never think that Jon Stewart would be attached to this movie in any way whatsoever.
Wow.
It's a very, very serious, horrifying drama about a Canadian-Iranian dude that goes back to Iran for some reason to visit, and he gets snatched up by the mullahs and thrown in prison and tortured for 118 days.
Ooh.
And it's based on a true story.
It's a true story, yeah.
Yeah. But Jon Stewart directed that one too.
Wow. I hadn't even heard of it.
Yeah, well, nobody went to see it, unfortunately. But it was a well-received movie, even if it was not well attended.
Right. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about movies in just a second, but Craig, one of the things that we need to talk about is I know you have some different hours right now as we all try to recover from this COVID-19 thing.
Yeah, we're trying to work our way through this. What we decided on Monday through Thursday, we're going to be closing the theater at 4:30.
Right.
So basically, we do that first and second set, but we're not going to do those evening shows on those weekdays. We're just not getting people coming in.
Right.
So that'll actually start Monday. So Monday through Thursday, no evening shows. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, same hours. So
Yeah. So date nights are covered.
yes, yeah, you got that.
Makes
You
sense.
got that. It's
I vaguely remember that that's an important thing.
Yeah.
It's been so long.
It's
Not as important as it used to be, frankly, young fella.
And honey, if you're listening, every night's a date night now.
Yeah,
We just stay home.
and we're happy to see Irresistible today.
Right.
Something new here. We've got Unhinged.
Oh, right.
That's a Russell Crowe film. Right now, we're still looking at July 10th for that one.
So that's just around the corner.
That one's coming up now.
So what do we know about that movie?
It's Russell Crowe is a kind of a psycho road rage.
Let me guess. He comes unhinged.
Yes, yeah.
Mm.
Looks
Amazing
pretty-
powers of
looks
perceptual
pretty
reasoning.
neat. Well, what we're seeing though is, the studios are trying to work through this also, and of course they don't want to release a movie into
Empty theaters.
yeah, compromised theaters. So, actually, I just got up this morning, and Christopher Nolan has a movie called Tenet
Wow.
that is coming up. Well, it was supposed to come up July 17th, then it went to July 31st, and it just went to August 10th or 11th today.
Wow.
So the middle there. So they're pushing those back. Unfortunately, kind of the we're seeing these numbers going up around here, and
Right.
and some of the bigger states are starting to tighten up a little bit again. We're seeing Florida and Texas just close their bars up today.
Really? Wow. So kind of coming back around again with that whole
I
thing.
say, unfortunately, what it's doing then is pushing some of these films back. So,
That's got to make it. I mean, I know that I've read that there's some different theater chains that have really struggled through this whole thing. It's got to make things really tough for you guys.
it's terribly challenging. Yes, this is not easy times at all.
Yeah, I bet. But it doesn't slow down the critics from getting out there and
Absolutely not. We're fearless.
very critically fearless.
And getting back to Irresistibly here just for a minute,
Sure.
Great cast. Chris Cooper, whose face you will recognize if you ever went to, well, maybe not you, but most people who go to the movies
I'm telling you, it's not easy being me. Anyway.
would recognize Chris Cooper. He's a long-serving character actor, but he plays a veteran who goes back to Wisconsin and runs for the mayor of this little town there in Wisconsin.
Wow.
And Rose Byrne, or Bernie,
Burden.
Bernie?
Burden.
Bird?
Burn.
Just
Byrne, who, by the way,
Byrne.
was she was just in Like a Boss here before the pandemic hit. Anyway, she plays a Republican operative who goes in to help defeat this mayoral candidate, and Steve Carroll comes in. He's dispatched by the Democrat Party to. So we've got a boy-girl situation here with from competing parties, but also Deborah Messing, Mackenzie Davis. If you haven't seen her, she's a young Canadian actress, and you'll enjoy this. She was in a movie called Freaks of Nature.
Freaks of Nature. Is it a zombie movie?
By gum, it is
Now,
a zombie
for those of
movie.
you here on KRM that may not have heard our hometown movie guys before, it's important to note that Andy McKinney is a bona fide zombie aficionado, wrote the book A Gross of Zombies.
Reviews of 144 zombie movies.
And that's a lot. I didn't even realize there were that many zombies.
Oh, you wouldn't believe it. There are.
So this particular zombie movie, thumbs up, thumbs down?
No, yeah,
thumbs?
no, it's fine. It's a teenage mayhem, silly stuff.
Right.
It's not just zombies. There's werewolves and vampires.
It's a multifaceted movie.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, she's a fine young actress, Canadian, and Topher Grace also is in this. And
Topher
you
Grace.
may not know the name Topher Grace, but I bet you know the name Eric Foreman from the '70s show.
Oh, okay, now you're talking.
That's who that is.
Oh, okay.
And he's in this movie too. So I'm looking forward to seeing that today at
1 o'clock.
at 1
1
o'clock.
o'clock, 4 o'clock, and 7 o'clock. Yeah, no, it's got a great cast in it. Political satire should be good for some laughs here. And
Well,
we all
in
need
this
that.
day and age, yeah, we really do, because I mean,
is.
there's so much divisiveness and so much politicalization about just about everything these days. It's time to just sit back and laugh at ourselves a bit.
Oh, well, anything we can laugh at now is good.
Yeah, well, I'll laugh at you.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, by the way, appreciate you listening this morning on KRIM. It's wonderful to be over here in some new digs, but you can also catch us live and actually see how strange looking we are by going on Facebook this morning. We're on Facebook Live at KRIM FM and enjoying having the hometown movie guys in here and always talking about all the great stuff that the Sawmill Theaters has going on. And I think first and foremost, in my strange way of looking at the world, I just need to be reassured that the concession stand is still open.
Popcorn's flowing.
Gotta love it,
Oh,
gotta
yeah.
love it. All
Oh,
right.
yeah.
So no reason not to get over there. And as we mentioned earlier, Monday through Thursday, there's no evening.
No evening shows. No,
Okay.
we'll keep that going here for a while until things kind of settle down.
But we've got it all ready for you on the weekends, Friday and Saturday nights.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, and Sunday night
Yeah,
too.
Sunday night too.
Very cool. Gotta love it. Now, Andy.
And could you explain to the people in Radio Land how the broadcast is going to go time-wise today?
Well, what we're going to do.
Because I find this fascinating.
I find it interesting to try and keep up with. There's a whole bunch of new buttons here for me to learn, but I'm working my way through it. Now, the way we're going to do it is we're going to be on live here on KRIM.
As we are at this very moment.
Right, with Community Spotlight as usual from 10 until 10:30. But at 10:30, well, we'll get back to more of your favorite classic hits on KRIM. We're also going to continue on Facebook Live, so you can stay with us if you like to check out some of the dialogue. We got a whole bunch of different stuff coming your way. We're going to be talking about movies and all that kind of good thing. And as we've done in the past in other locations, we're going to be having like our topic of the week, the topic du jour, that you can chime in on. One of the nice things about being on Facebook is you can actually post your questions there, and we'll do our best to try and take those live for you and address them as far as
No question unanswered.
like, what's the deal with Andy's beard and stuff like that. I mean, all these important
I'm
questions.
trying to catch up.
Gotta love it. Hey,
You got a
man,
ways to go.
the bearded crowd this morning.
I'm doing it as hard as I can.
No wonder Tina's not here. Everyone else here has got a beard. There's a funny joke there somewhere, Tina, but I'm going to let it go.
Yeah.
So now
We have a lot of special things at the Sawmill Theater too. And before we get away and talk about the current movies, Craig, if you could mention just some of the special themes and special times and special prices.
Yeah. Well, first, everything's just $5 right now.
$5.
All day, every day. Yeah. And that's another, we're going to keep that one going while things are kind of settling out. So we got that going. I don't know if did you talk about Tuesday yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
But wait, there's
yeah, for the next 4 or 5
6.
weeks. 6 weeks. We've got the Republican Party kind of sponsoring some patriotic films.
Oh, that's a cool idea.
Yeah,
I like that a
on
lot.
Tuesday mornings at 10 a.m. And we're going to start actually this coming Tuesday with Mr. Smith Goes to Washington.
Right?
And
Wow.
because it's being sponsored by an outside group, there'll be no charge for the public. Just
Oh,
come
wow.
in and watch Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, classic, wonderful, wonderful movie about how the government should work, I guess.
Oh, hats off to the Republican folks for making that happen for
You bet. And then we'll have, there's a whole bunch of them coming up. Midway, Yankee Doodle Dandy, if you haven't seen that for a while.
The
Good
Patriot.
Song and Dance, The Patriot.
Yeah, Mel Gibson.
You know, after having visited the Midway over in San
okay.
Diego and everything, and walked through the I guess the bowels of that ship, if you will, as well as up on the deck, and then when you see these like the movie Midway, I mean, it really took on a whole new light. I mean, that's what an amazing time and place that they went through on that ship. It's a really remarkable story.
Yeah, absolutely. They say if you can read this sign, thank a teacher, but if you can read it in English, thank a soldier or a sailor in
I
this
like
case.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. But what about the classics and the faith-based?
Classic movies still going. We need to get our faith-based films going again.
Yeah.
Those were we were doing our classics the first Saturday of each month.
Right.
We're continuing with those. Again, that's another one, 10 a.m. We've got Out of Africa coming up. It'll be the next one actually that's on the 4th of July.
You know, one of the things
That's
with
one of the most beautifully filmed movies I've ever seen.
Out of
Just
Africa?
gorgeous, yeah.
You know, one of the things, just hanging on with the faith-based movies for just a moment, I've been really encouraged. It seems like over the last couple of years, there's been a much greater focus and a much bigger success rate with a lot of these faith-based films, and the production values have increased significantly over what they had been a few years back. And it seems, and I guess the bottom line, and the part that I find most encouraging, is there seems to be a real hunger for that kind of programming.
Sure. You know, I mean, Hollywood is it's a business. You know,
Sure.
And that's
Gotta make bucks.
they're there to make money, exactly. So, as some of these films, types of films start making more money, then Hollywood's going to put more money into them, in the production value of it, and that's what we're seeing.
Right.
So we've got some, I think War Room was really the kind of peak of that. I think that was #1 in the country for a couple weeks. That's been a few years ago, but I think that one really kind of showed Hollywood that they can do these things.
Yeah. The producers of War Room said that of their next picture, that they made so much money with War Room that the follow-up picture, they were able to build their own sets.
Wow.
So
That
that shows
you how meager it used to be, right?
where they were and where they're headed. So yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah. The other one too, we've got if you want to come in and do a private showing, we're completely open to that. 10 a.m. in the morning, I can do that for you. Anything we're currently playing, if you want to bring in your own disc, I do a $50 minimum on those. But if you got your family or something, you want to come in and have the theater to yourself, give me a call. We can work that out too.
For just a $50 minimum fee.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a screaming deal. And I know one of the things too that we've talked about before, and that I think that bears repeating, is that if you're thinking about a birthday, party or something like that, and maybe for the kids, but maybe not for the kids. Maybe you just want to get a bunch of your friends together for a special event or whatever, and go down and watch, whatever movie. You can bring it in, and for $50 minimum fee, you got the whole theater to yourself, but concessions outside, and life is good.
Yeah, a friend of ours, a young fella in his early 20s, for his birthday a couple of years ago, rented the theater and showed us Son of Paleface, an old Bob Hope movie, and that was just a hoot and such a strange thing for a young person to be fascinated enough that he wanted to see that movie. That was really fun.
One of the things that, again, as I mentioned, we're live on the air here at KRIM for from 10 to 10:30 this morning, but we're going to continue the conversation on from 10:30 from 10:30 to 11 on Facebook Live, where you can catch us right now at KRIM FM. Just look up the KRIM FM page on Facebook, and you'll see us live here in the studio. But one of the things that I wanted to talk about a little bit in the next half hour is some of those movies that were big hits that you couldn't make anymore, and that may not, that you probably wouldn't see made anymore. And I guess at the top of the list for me would be Blazing Saddles.
Absolutely.
I heard that there was so much political correctness concern about that they did a politically correct edited version that, after all the edits were done, came out to be about 6 minutes long. It was mainly credits.
That, by the way, was one of our classic movies here not too long ago.
I bet that went over well.
Well, actually, a couple of people got up and walked out.
Now, I have to ask though, I mean, you didn't in the concession stand, you didn't serve beans that night, right?
Yeah.
For those of you that are familiar with the movie, you know where I'm going with that. For the rest of you, it's probably just as well. So it's interesting. Now, again, just to reiterate here before we get you back to more of your favorite music here on KRIM, the Sawmill Theaters, Monday through Thursday, it's the afternoon matinees only.
Yes.
And then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights you're open for the regular hours.
Regular times.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there are some more movies coming there's something we haven't discussed already this morning, Andy?
No, well, let's talk about the ones that are here now.
Okay. Let's.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Ooh, I like that movie. That's been a favorite.
Absolutely terrific movie. The Bourne Supremacy, with the incomparable Julia Stiles. Like her a lot. The Mummy, 1999, and this is the original Mummy.
This is not a cheap facsimile. This is the original Mummy.
Well, what happens in my mind with some of these franchises is the budget to make the movie goes up and the sparkle of the movie goes down. But the Mummy was the good one.
Yeah, the first one. Yeah,
Right.
they do 3 or 4 of those, ended with
Oh.
Tomb of the Dragon Emperors. I mean,
Just
and again,
that
like
was
you
on
said,
TV the other
kinda,
night. It was
kinda,
awful.
It dropped off. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this one is good. Yeah, the first one is.
Yeah,
is
the next
excellent.
one I hear is going to be pretty interesting too. The Mummy, the worms are starting to bug me. Ooh, sorry. All right. Let's go back to Blazing Saddles.
Bloodshot, another. This is a Vin Diesel movie, but it's filmed in and released in 2020.
Wow.
So yeah.
This is a March release. Came out back when the troubles began.
Yeah,
Right.
they have. They were out
Okay.
for a week, and then everything closed down on them. That's too bad. Also, the Addams Family and the Trolls World Tour.
Yeah, a couple of kids movies.
Yeah, the
Kids,
Addams Family. By the way, this is the animated version.
Okay. Now, and that's one of the things too that needs to be mentioned is that you always have an interesting mix of, I mean, you'll have some good kids movies, family-related movies, and an occasional R drama or something
Sure,
like that. But I
sure.
mean, you really do have something for just about any taste.
Well, you got to try to mix it up. Give
Yeah.
everybody something to watch.
There you go.
Speaking of our films, next Friday we got Deadpool coming in.
Ooh,
That first Deadpool film.
that ought to be interesting.
It's hilarious.
And that, I mean, well, that whole.
That is really funny. There's stuff in there that I can't talk about on the air.
Yeah, that's
But it's still funny.
It's an R-rated film, but yeah.
You gotta love it. Well,
It's
so,
good. It's
so
good.
again, something for everybody. And again, if you're thinking of, Friday, Saturday date night or something like that, whether you want to watch, a more serious movie, a comedy, or maybe you just want to take the kids out and that kind of thing. There's always something for everybody at the Sawmill Theaters. And I don't think we can reiterate enough the importance of getting out and supporting our local businesses, and certainly the Sawmill Theater is one. And to me, I think one of the significant reasons to get out and support businesses are because of the way they support the community. And I don't know of too many that have done more to support different causes in Rim Country than what you folks have been doing at the Sawmill Theaters. I mean, you've been involved in so many different things.
No, right now, like I said, this is a tough time for everyone.
Sure.
Well, you know about the fire, huh?
Oh yeah, Yep, up close and personal in my neighborhood.
Yeah, again, just another blow that came at a really bad time, and
Right.
you know, yeah.
And just when you think you're coming off the COVID-19 thing, boom, here's a fire.
Yeah.
Makes you look forward to what's coming next in
Yeah.
July, right?
And then,
Don't want to know.
Yeah, it's,
but some of these kids animated movies, excuse me, have great casts. The Addams Family has Chloe Grace Moritz, who's she's a great little actress, and I think she's going to have a long career. But also in the same movie, Snoop Dogg, Bette Midler, and Charlize Theron.
Wow.
All playing voices. And for Trolls World Tour, what a disappointment this one was. They spent $100 million to make this movie. They got $8 million back, and then everything closed up on them. Oh, I bet they're sad.
But they did all right. In the end, they got their streaming money.
Yeah, I hear you. Well,
Anna Kendrick, Justin Timberlake, Kelly Clarkson, George Clinton of the Parliament of Funk,
oh, the Parliament of Funk.
and Mary J. Blige.
There you go.
So great voice cast in Trolls World Tour.
And that's playing currently. All right, so get on down to the Sawmill Theaters now. On K-Rim here, we're going to get you back to more of your favorite classic hits. But in the meantime, if you want to continue on with the conversation here with your hometown movie guys, just go over to Facebook, because we're broadcasting live on Facebook Live at K-Rim FM on Facebook. And we hope you'll come on over and check us out as we perhaps become even a little bit more irreverent than usual. And you just got to tune in and find out exactly where that's all going next. But nonetheless, been a pleasure to talk to our hometown movie guys here on K-Rim. We've got a lot more, just a whole bunch of different stuff to talk about. We're going to get to all of that and more right after these words.
Hand me a honker.
Hi, my name is Barbara Allen, owner of Wildflowers
Thank
Aesthetic,
you.
located
I'm like,
at Main Highway, Suite
on the cell phone?
D2.
Senator, you're still live on
Treatment
Facebook.
facials,
Right.
permanent makeup, such as
Yeah.
special occasion
Not,
makeup, lip enhancers,
Hi there.
and so much
Still
more.
One channel?
Was not seeing any view meter action.
Gotcha, just one channel, okay.
And only on one channel, so I was
You
like,
can see many of the services. we
Gotcha.
offer
I was
on
struggling, but I think we got through it.
Saturdays and early
Anyway, I'm gonna
by appointment only.
turn down the commercials, and we'll keep on talking here on Facebook. And
251-2234,
I know,
and
don't
my
need
email
those
is
at all.
akawasaki9@gmail.
all right, so continuing on with our hometown movie guys. Again, Andy McKinney, Craig from Sawmill Theaters with us, and some guy named Randy Roberson. Always fun to get together with you guys, but
Yep,
I think
Tina,
this
Tina
kind of-
Turner and Tina
Tina Turner.
Tina Terry is out of town. She's having something out of town
to do.
to do. And,
Well done.
Yeah, but she'll be back next week. And,
Okay.
Randy, this is really fun. We've never done this before.
Yeah, no. So
Well, you know, and for me,
It's like being on TV, isn't it?
For me, it's a challenge because all of the buttons are in a new place. And we not only have all the radio stuff going on, but we have all of the Facebook Live stuff going on. And so remote controlling the video and everything that you're seeing on Facebook here, and a number of cameras and lights and switches, and trying to multitask. And so if we look like we're a little behind at times, it's not Facebook, it's me. I'll just admit that. So we're trying our best. We'll get the routine down here and be having fun doing it. So we were talking just before the break there about movies that that were big hits, but probably couldn't be done today. And I think it goes without saying that Blazing Saddles would be one of those. Any others that come to mind?
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say they are doing. I just read the other day, Twister. I mean, obviously one they can redo, but.
And this is not the game from Mattel. This is about the tornadoes.
Was Bill Pullman?
Yeah, and what's her face?
Hunt. Was it?
Yep.
Helen Hunt.
Helen Hunt. Yeah,
Yeah.
Helen Hunt.
And Helen Hunt first came to our attention in a movie called Trancers. She was a very young actress, and she played a Santa's elf.
Santa's elf.
And if you can imagine her at 18 or 19 in a Santa's elf costume, is so,
Yeah, I can, as a matter of
is
fact.
so cute. Just absolutely adorable. And I think they made 5 of those things. She was in the first couple, but not really great.
Yeah,
movies,
Andy
but-
McKinney once again proving that the word cute can be interpreted many different ways.
But some with Twister, they're doing that, and I can see doing that.
Never
when I
seen
was-
Pullman in tights, however.
Yeah.
Was he in that?
Men in Tights?
Men in Tights?
No.
Was he? No.
Oh,
Okay. All right. But no, some of these you remake them because the special effects have caught up. And you can do a much cooler version of that, and I think that's what they're looking at with Twister.
Yeah, a friend of mine, back in, geez, that was like 92 or something. That was, I don't know, somewhere in the early 90s.
Hey,
anyway.
don't talk like 92 was a long time ago.
Okay, yeah.
It'll make me feel better.
We saw Twister over at some friend's house, and they just gotten in one of these elaborate stereo systems. And when the cow gets caught up in the Twister,
Oh, yeah.
it goes all the way around the room, and we got to hear it in the surround sound. And boy, was that cool! And it's in front of you, and then it's behind you, and it goes around, and oh boy, was that fun! So I can't wait for a new and improved Twister.
Yeah, a new Twister, yeah.
And the sound systems in theaters today are not at all what they used to be. I mean, that's a pretty extensive. I mean, we'll talk about the visual thing in a second, but like at the Sono Theater, I mean, you've got some pretty involved sound systems there.
Yeah, well, and honestly, we're on 5.1 now still, but some of these they got the new Atmos systems that are just insane. I mean, the system probably costs more than our whole theater.
Right.
Well, you guys revamped your sound
Well,
systems
we
here
did, yeah,
in the
we did
last
here
few
just,
years.
5-6 years ago. We put all new speakers in, new subs, new sound processors and everything. So we did do that upgrade there, but yeah, there's
How big
a
are
whole,
the subwoofers that you use in the theater there?
800 watts.
Wow. So that's no wonder you can feel it.
Oh, they're
yeah.
about 3 feet high by 4 foot wide.
Wow.
Pretty good size.
Yeah, when they had San Andreas, was the big earthquake movie there a couple of years ago. Boy, oh boy, you can feel it.
Interesting.
Yeah, but no, they go in with those Atmos systems. They hang speakers off the ceilings and everything else, and
Right.
I can't imagine the
Now, how, being in the biz, I would assume you might have some kind of gut feel, but how long before you think movie releases get back to kind of how they were before all this COVID-19 thing? Any
Well,
idea?
I originally I thought July,
Right.
But as I said, we're Disney is talking about pushing Mulan back now too. Mulan was originally a March 27th release, and it was right around St. Patrick's Day that everything shut down, so that got pushed. They said that went to July 24th, and now I think they're going to end up probably pushing that back too. So really, I'm thinking now, August is going to be kind of more of a, when things get going, and then September. Hopefully, September is kind of getting there. I just don't know. It's changing so fast. Every day you get up and look and see what's going on, and honestly, I haven't had a lot of good news.
Now, what have you? I know you've had a lot of focus on keeping the social distancing thing, yeah, and you still have that going on at the theater.
Oh,
right?
sure. Yeah. We roped off every other row.
Yeah,
And
so-
then we've also capped the ticketing, so on top of the rows being empty in between you, you're going to have space, plenty of space.
Right.
That's not going to be an issue. You're not going to be worried about sitting next to someone.
It's kind of fun when you don't have some little kid behind you kicking your seat.
Yeah. Not too many things annoy me more in the theater. Plus, I would think it would make the Friday night date night thing that much more pleasurable.
More intimate.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Less disruptive or something.
No, like I said, we've done all we can. There's only so much you can do on these things. It's a little frustrating right now.
And hasn't Sony done something very dramatic with their schedule?
Well, more Universal has been kind of the one that's
Hate Universal. Hate Universal.
Really big fan of
but,
Universal.
well,
Well,
there's
they hosed us last week.
King of Staten Island. Yeah, that was actually that one caused. I'm hearing now that was kind of an internal thing within the company, and they just dropped the ball where they went and they booked over 100 theaters for this movie, and then on Wednesday, 2 days before it came out, they found out
Yeah.
after we had the film and everything, and then
After
they
the
said,
advertising had been out.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
What happened then?
well, then they came out and they said, oops, this was just supposed to go straight to streaming and not to theaters at all. So they
Made you look.
Yeah, pulled the print. But, you know, and that's
man.
another one that's going on right now is a huge kind of battle with the the streaming services and movies going directly to theaters or directly to streaming. And I get it, with this shutdown going on. The studios are trying to recoup their money, and right now I think they're most theaters aren't open,
Right.
so they're going with the streaming route.
Well, you've had a great bunch of folks working at the theaters. It's got to be a struggle because obviously you're cutting back hours.
We're on a skeleton crew.
Yeah, and
we
that's,
really are.
that's got to be rough.
It's it's a little disappointing. I've been there for 15 years. And you're into a situation where usually you have a little more control over things, and right now we're just trying to keep things operational.
Right,
And that's kind of a barely thing right now.
Huh.
Yeah, it's tough, and I'm sure not just the theater, but businesses in general are. These smaller businesses that are really taking a shot.
Right. As a matter of fact, in KRM News today, we're talking about that specifically with a few different businesses that, local cafes and there's an awful lot of businesses, especially along the B line, that depend on that tourist
Sure.
traffic. And with that being shut down for a while, it was a challenge. Although I was a little encouraged. It looked like the traffic was picking up this morning.
Yeah.
So that's good. Hopefully.
I'm sure they'll be back next weekend.
Yeah.
4th of July.
There you go. So, wow, interesting. Now, when it comes to movies in general, one of the things that you were talking about, Andy, was I believe it was this animated movie where you said that they had spent $100 million, and then this whole COVID-19 thing hit or something.
Yep.
I mean, and so far they've recouped how much?
Well, theatrically, 8 million, but, yeah. But then, Craig, they did release it streaming, right?
Yeah, that's generally with the theaters and the studios. There's a long-standing agreement of 90 days. The movie comes out in the theaters, then 90 days after is when they can start doing DVD sales and,
Right.
and streaming and stuff. Well, with this whole situation, Trolls was kind of the first one that was set to release in theaters on April 10th. So obviously everything was shut down at that point. So Universal went ahead and just put it directly to streaming, and they did in 20 days. I think they made $100 million.
Wow.
Oh, really?
On the streaming services.
Wow.
Yeah, so, and how does that work? I mean, is it because it's pay-per-view, or do they actually have advertising infused?
No,
Or?
pay-per-view.
Just strictly
Just on
pay-per-view?
pay-per-view, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they recouped how much?
100 million.
So that's half their money.
Well, that's pocket,
Well, no,
pocket
actually, I
change
don't
for
know.
Andy, but
When, I don't know how they divvy that up on streaming.
Yeah, that's
You've got to
another.
pay the streaming service something.
Sure. Yeah, I have no idea on that end of it. It's really kind of an interesting situation, and I understand the studios, with some of this stuff and wanting to get their money back. Everyone's trying to get by.
Sure, I mean, everybody's behind the 8 ball, but just because the other guy's behind the 8 ball doesn't mean that you're not hurting.
Well, we're seeing. I think we actually talked about this before everything shut down. Was Greyhound? It's a Tom Hanks film on World War II,
Right.
with the German U-boats getting into a convoy, and it just looked amazing. It's supposed to come out June 10th, so that was all shut down. And Sony turned around and they sold it to Apple TV. I have no idea what the cost was. So now, if you want to watch Greyhound, you got to watch.
that's the
on-
only place.
exclusively.
And
Wow.
Mhm.
and Craig mentioned how Trolls was able to gather 100 million on streaming against a budget of 100 million. For a production company to risk $100 million, they have to be thinking that they're going to do $500 million, or even more. Sometimes some of these movies will hit $1 billion, which is I mean, even for you, that's big money.
Yeah, believe it or not. Yeah.
And I'm wondering, and maybe Greg knows more than I do about this, but I'm wondering if the era of these enormous budget movies is kind of over. Some of these movies, they spend not just 100 million, but 200 million, 300 million, 400 million.
You know, the Avenger films and stuff are
Yeah.
huge.
That's
huge
an
budget.
awful lot of money to be speculating, but
Yeah, and-
especially with such a change in the marketplace.
And yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. If you don't have the theatrical audience to depend upon, boy, that I think a streaming service, as popular as they are, is much more suited to a movie like The King of Staten Island, for instance.
For lower budget, yeah. You know, and we're really, I think we're waiting on a vaccine before things really come back. I just don't see it happening before then. People are still very cautious about this. Yeah, and we talk about this, you know, it's not just here in America. We've got if you look over in China, India, films over there is huge. You know, China is almost up with the U.S. on you know, their movie theaters over there.
Right.
Their theaters are all closed.
Wow.
And Bollywood actually outproduces the United States. We do something over 3,000 feature films a year, and Bollywood puts out many more than that.
Yeah, India loves their film
And
too.
they don't,
Oh, yeah.
you know, the streaming industry in India, of course, is much less developed than it is here. They go to the like our theater in Wickenburg, the old one-holers.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So yeah, like I said,
That's
this is
gotta be rough all the way around, but I don't know, I'm optimistic though. I think you're right, Craig, in that, you know, once there is a vaccine and people can, because I think there's a lot of folks that are very concerned about this, you know, some in a very realistic way and others perhaps not, but the bottom line is, you know, who wants to take chances, and people are probably, you know, just rather hesitant to want to, you know, take any chances, so.
well, that's some of why, you know, there's debate on that one too, with Trolls doing so much money on streaming.
Right.
Well, you know, in April, the whole country was shut down, so people, you know, didn't have anything to do. They were kind of stuck at home.
With the little kids.
With the little kids. So yeah, so obviously stuff like
Relate
that,
to
I think
that.
is going to make more. And I don't think, you know, if you would have taken Trolls when everything was open and we were running and put it directly on streaming, it wouldn't have made that much money on the streaming services. You know, and with these